Heidi ho, my crafty friends. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. So today we are going to make a little pocket for Grandma's attic. And I want to show you how we're going to do it. So this is the pocket we're going to make. And I have a piece of paper that I cut 6 by 12. Oops, didn't fold that very well, did I? Okay, so I took a 12 by 12 and I cut it in half. So I literally just cut it in half, okay? And what I did was, first of all, I fought with the paper. I'm going to be honest with you. I fought with the paper. So I folded the paper and I folded it. So I'm going to give you the measurements. I folded it each. I folded my right section. This is a 5-inch fold. My left section is a 5-inch fold, leaving my center section. Okay, so I folded it like this and like this. Then I took my bone folder, maybe, and I went over it like this. And as you can tell, I folded it many times. Maybe you can tell. I went over it like that. Okay. Then on each corner, I folded it down to that fold. So I put my finger on the fold and I folded it down to the fold. Now it's very important. And see, this piece I folded past the fold. That's why it was wrinkled like that. It's very important that you get it up only to that fold. So take your bone folder and you want to crease it down to that fold. Okay, so put your finger on the fold and bring it up and don't go past the fold. Okay, don't go past it. You can go a little before it. That's usually what I do. This one was before it. Okay, so now it should look like this. Okay, now you're going to fold the left. Now you want to make sure that your bottom is straight. And push it down at the bottom. Keep your bottom straight. Fold over your right on top. Now you have this pocket. Okay. Now you're going to glue right here on this edge. And across the bottom. So you're going to open it back up. You're going to glue all the way across the bottom. You're going to glue here. You're going to glue here. You're going to glue here. And you're going to glue on these short sides. Just like this. Okay. Now you're going to fold it back up. You're going to go this way. And you're going to go this way. And you're going to keep it straight. Okay. Now you need to make sure you wipe off any excess glue. And you need to keep your bottom as straight as you possibly can. Don't glue this part. Okay. Now, the remaining piece that you have from your 12 by 12. Now, it doesn't have to be the same piece. It can be, you know, a different piece. It can be the coordinating piece. Now, my paper happens to be two-sided. And it's multi-directional. Which is why I chose it. So, I am going to make some additional pockets to put on it. So, I'm going to take my remaining piece. Now, where did my paper cutter go? It was sitting right here. Oh, good golly, Moses. Oh, this is right in front of my face. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces of paper that measure from here, from this corner to this corner, and are no longer, that is this width. That's the same width from the corner to the end, and are this width from this corner over here. So it's this square. Okay? That's what I'm cutting. So I'm going to cut a chunk off down here at the bottom. And it needs to go this way, like this. And then I can mark where I need to be, which is this brown. I need to cut it that brown stripe. And then my length is going to go here. Okay, so I'm going to cut here, up, and over. Okay, now I'm going to cut it the other way. I'm going to cut it right across that brown stripe. Okay, so there's one pocket that goes this way. Now there's another pocket that sits on top of this that's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to use this piece. It's going to sit right here, but it's not quite long enough, and that's okay. I can center it like that. So I have my pocket that sits right here. This pocket is going to give me a pocket back here. So I have my big pocket that is here. I have a pocket back here. And now I have a tuck that's over here. Now, you all know I'm a puncher and all that stuff. So I'm going to put these together. And I'm going to go on and let's see, that one doesn't go there. That one goes there. I'm going to put that one there. Now, if you want your corners rounded, now's the time to do it. If you want to ink, now's the time to do it. Okay? So, do I want to ink this? Yes, I do. But I want very little. I just want to do the edges like this. And I want to come on the inside. And I'm just really lightly running it like this. And I'm going to do the same thing across the bottom and down here. Because I'm really not going to see it at the bottom. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, except when I get to the corners of this, I'm going to make them a little bit darker. And I'm going to make this corner a little bit darker. By just, you know how I do that. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just running it really lightly, except when I get up here. Because you've seen what it looks like when your kids, or your grandkids stick their fingers in things, like 100 times. What does it look like? Yeah, it starts looking a little grungy. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to glue these together first before I put them on my project. So I'm going to scoot them around where I need them to be. Okay, so this one is the tricky one. Because it's a pocket that goes this way, hold on to the end where the notch is, okay? Glue the back end. Yeah, I got shaky hands today, sorry. That way. And that way. And because this is such a small little pocket, oh lordy, both hands are shaking today. And normally I say embrace the shake. When I'm doing mixed media, embrace the shake. But this is not mixed media. So, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom. And I want to line it up at the top. And I want to center it like that. Okay, now I'm going to put both pieces on here. Like this. Just like that. Okay, now this one, the back one loads at the top. So I'm going to hold it at the top. And I'm going to just put my glue just like I normally would. Now the stripe is not my favorite. That's why I just used a little bit of it. Now I loved this paper pack. It was one of my favorite paper packs that have ever come out. And I'm down to scraps on it. And in my effort to use up things in my craft room, we are going to, I've broken down and I've said I've just got to use it. No more hoarding. I have been hoarding this for 2 years. There. So now I have my pockets. Now, I can't put anything in these little pockets until they dry. But I can go on and put it in my book. So, now, if you want to create, you know, a side tuck behind the big pocket, feel free. You can do that, because this is, if you've used cardstock, you have plenty of strength to do that. Now, this pocket can be made any way or any size you want it to be made. So, you know, if you've got a little bitty journal, feel free. Now, if you're going to fold it smaller, then you might not want to use a heavy-duty cardstock, because it does get a little hard to fold. You might want to use a thinner cardstock. Now, I want to make sure I have room on this page to add some lace. So, I want to be able to add lace down the edge of this page. Now, I want to fold another one, and I want to show you when I fold it how I fold and label things if I'm putting them in my idea book. So, but I just want to make another one. So this one has a white inside. Now, if you don't have lined paper, you know, you can layer the inside, but the inside of this one is shiny. I don't know if you can see that shine. It's a very glimmery paper on the other side. I don't know if the light's catching it or not, but I would not line this because it's very pretty. So I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to cut it a little taller. I'm going to make this one about 7 inches tall when I cut it. And this one's multi-directional also. So I'm going to make this one about 7 inches. And this page, even though they came out of the same book, it's thinner. The page is thinner because it's not, because it doesn't have a print on this side. It feels totally different. So again, I'm going to fold it into thirds, about 5 inches and 5 inches. Or I think I might go 4.5. Basically, you're just folding your page into thirds. And you're just keeping your bottom edge straight. Okay. And then you're putting your finger on your fold, and you're folding this down. Now, you can glue these down if you need to. And on this one, I think I will. So to glue those down, now don't cut them off because they add some support to this upper edge. But if you're using a really thick cardstock, like that 120-pound brown cardstock that I have, I might have to trim them off a little bit because that would be way too bulky. Now, I wouldn't cut it all the way off, but I would cut some of it off. Now, these look lovely using book pages. I've made these with book pages from my flower book that we like to use. And they look great that way, too. So, again, I've went down the side. I'm coming all the way across the bottom. Now, if you're going to decorate the inside, now's the time to do it. Now's when you have to do it. And you have to decorate this center panel. And you don't have to come all the way down, but you do have to come at least to the bottom of your fold. And you don't have to fold right over left. You can fold left over right, whichever way you choose. But I'm right-handed, so that's just the way it works out for me. Okay, so now here's one that doesn't have the center covered, but it's shiny. The whole, both pieces are shiny, both the inside and the outside. Now, again, I can add those additional pockets, but you don't have to. You can leave it like it is and add pockets on the back if you want. You can add multiple pockets. You can add pockets on the front. Again, you're going to start where that fold is. You can add pockets on the front. You can add pockets on the back. Pop it in the mail to somebody as Happy Mail. These make great little Happy Mail hidey-hos. I used to do that all the time to members of my Facebook group. That only came out halfway, didn't it? Finish the thought, Lori. Finish the thought. Okay. So there's that one. And now you're thinking, well, what can we put in them? You can put anything you want in them. The one that was in my other journal had, let me show you everything that was in this one. So this one is a Reader's Digest journal that I did. It's down in the playlist if you want to see how it was made. So there's a pocket there. There's a pocket back there. There's a pocket in there. And there's a pocket there. Just the way the paper was folded. That's how many pockets that ended up with this. Because I took the paper and I folded it in half as I was making the pockets. So instead of just cutting it, I folded the paper like this. That gave me pockets under here. So let's do it that way this time. So for the back, okay, for the back pocket, we need okay, there's one. Now I'm not cutting it widthwise yet. I'm just cutting the pocket. So there's one. And the second one, I think we're going to do this way. Okay. So here are our pockets. Okay. Now you can arrange these pockets any way you choose. Okay, here are our pockets. So, the first pocket in the back, you're going to have a pocket in the back, and then you're going to have a pocket in the front. Well, I think sometimes it's easier to see the pocket in the front if this is a little bit shorter, because you saw the difficulty I had trying to distinguish where that second pocket was. So, how about we cut this just a smidgen shorter for that front fold. Let's do it that way. Let's do it that way. And then when we snip them, let's snip that one there. And how about we snip this side over there? That'll distinguish between the two. There we go. So now we can see that there's one there and one there. And when we do this, bring this across here. And then we put it down. Now we can see the difference where the pockets are. Now this one I think needs to be a little bit darker. There we go. Now when we sit them down, we can see the difference in where the two pockets are. Now this one is going to sit here. So let's make this one even a little bit more shorter. So for this one, let's grab our pencil. And I think we're going to bring it down to here. And because this is a side tuck here, we're going to go on and make this a side tuck, but it's also going to be a back pocket. So we're going to go on and glue. We're going to glue across here. And then we're going to glue it closed here. Okay. Like that. Now we're going to glue all these pockets together before we put it on there. Okay, so here are how the pockets are going to sit. So let's get all this taken care of here, because we have a lot going on the pockets, and it's different than what it was. So let's get all this squished, I guess would be the good word. So this is going to sit this way. So we have a pocket back here behind us. Back here, we have a pocket in here. We're going to have a pocket in here. Plus, we're going to have a tuck inside there. Okay, so let's glue them down, or let's glue them together. So we've got a pocket here. Like that. We're going to have a pocket here. And all this is made with one 12 by 12 piece of paper. And then this one is going to sit here. Right here. And the whole lot of this is going to sit on front. Like, whoops, we forgot to trim it, didn't we? So let's trim this, because some of what we glued doesn't need to be there. Okay, so let's trim this. Okay, so let's do some re-glue in here. Okay, now let's glue this piece down. There we go. Now, let's make sure all this is sticking down here. Now, we're going to put a couple of paper clips on here. So I'm sure everything is where it needs to be since we just cut it. Okay, I think I've got everything where it should be. Now we're going to just let that sit for a minute. Okay. Now, this is kind of thick. That's why I'm putting a couple of paper clips on it. making sure everything is attaching. It'll just take a minute. Get off of there, you silly thing. There we go. Now, I'm just put those on there to make sure everything is attaching since I disrupted it. That didn't make a whole lot of sense, did it? There. I'm just going to leave that on there for a minute since I pulled it off to cut. I'm just going to leave those on there for a minute. Okay. So let's put some things away off of our desk and clear our desk. Now, so now we have two styles of pockets that we can use, and we can, you know, you can always put this one away someplace, and whenever you're ready to use it, you have it. Okay, so hold on just a second here. Hold on just a second. Okay, so let's put some little things in here now. I think now that everything's dried. So in here, I think I'm going to put that little doily. Yeah, see, it's things like this that just, you know, they just sit around. And then in this one, I think this is it's been sitting long enough. Now this one, I'm not going to put anything in, you know, because I don't know what journal it's going to go in. But this will go in my pocket box. Okay, so in here, I got, hold on a second. I've got out more scraps. Oh my gracious sakes. Hold on a minute. There they are. Okay, so these are things that I already had. And there are some, now I just had some little, here they are. These are, some of the things in here are little magazine pages. Where are they? Here we go. Things like these that are magazine pages. And what I do with them is I take the magazine page and I glue them to just like plain cardstock to give them a little more support. And then when I'm ready to use them, like this is a clematis. I can either leave the name of it or I can trim it off whenever I'm ready to use it. And then I can decorate the page. I can trim it up. I can do whatever I want. And this just came out of a gardening magazine, you know, that I get in the mail all the time. But it adds this little magazine page some support, so it's not just thin magazine paper. And I can use it as a journaling card and something like this. So I can cut it to fit. So I need something. So let's make this about the size of what I need here. Right about here. So let's trim off the bottom. Oh, I think I just cut off the part that I wanted with my mark on it. All right, I think I'm going to leave the name of the plant on it. There we go. And I'm going to round the corners just a little bit. It'll make it easier for it to go in to the pocket. There we go. And I'm just going to slide that into the pocket, maybe. I might have to take a little more off. Let's take a little bit off of this side. Okay, and being a magazine page, there we go. Yeah, see, being a magazine page, I don't mind trimming it and losing things on it because it's just a magazine page. It's not like it's a, you know, it's a photo of family, you know, and things like that that I've taken. I don't mind things like that. Okay, so now I've got a piece left that I can use someplace else and I can put up there in my tag box. Okay. Alrighty then. So there we go. Alright, so let's get that trash off of there. Now, remember, I still have a little piece here, plus I have, I think, didn't we make, let's see if we have something we can put there. Okay, I have this little card. Let's see here if it'll fit. There, we can put that little card there. Let's see if this little tag, I don't think that's dry enough yet. That's not dry enough. But I do want to trim this up a little bit more. And this might fit in there. I think it might be too big. This is from an old paper pack that I bought several years ago. It came from Italy. And it should fit, but I don't think it's dry enough to even try. Let's see if I have another little card I can make. Okay, that one's too big. All right, we'll have to wait for that other one to dry because I don't think this is going to fit. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so I can show you about the size that we're going to need. Let's see here. Nope, I do not want you falling. There we go. About that size is what we're going to need to go in there. So I don't think, no, that's too wide. So we will have to make do with this. Alrighty, so these are our little folded pockets. Here we go. Right there. Now we can use our butterflies. We are doing well. We're using up all kinds of stuff today. Now back here we can put a butterfly. Nope, do not like that. Let's just put that card in there. These will have to get used another day. Let's see, were there two pockets back here? I think there were, weren't there? I think I like this one better. Oh, I like that so much better. Yeah, so much better. Okay, we'll do it that way. There we go. So there. So now we have two pockets made. One's going to go in my pocket box. Let me clean some of this off so you can actually see them. There. So now we have two made. one's for the grandma's attic. One we can put in another journal, or it can go in the pocket box, you know, whichever we decide to do. All right, let's get some other stuff out of the way so you can see it. Let's get this ribbon out of the way. There we go. So here's the second one we got made, and it's got multiple pockets in it. So it's got this pocket here, which I think is dry enough to put something in. It's got that pocket there. It's got that little pocket. Oop, maybe. Okay, it's got that little pocket back there. It's got that little pocket there. Here, it might even have a pocket big enough to put a little butterfly in. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can get a butterfly up here. There. It's got that little pocket up there. Now you can even put another pocket behind it if you want. No, don't like that. Here's some more cards that I made. You know, you can put it on a page and put another pocket behind it. Like that. You could fold up one of these pages like this, you know, that you write on. And put it right there. There we go. We're filling up our pockets, aren't we? And then in here, in this little pocket right here, you can put another little tag if you want. So let's see if we have another little tag. I'm sure we do here in our little tag box. Here's another little tag. So we can put another little tag in there. I'm sure I even have a smaller tag. Oh, look, I do. I even have a smaller tag we can tuck in there. Even a smaller little tag can go in there. And if you want to put something else down here, you can. So, you know, you can do all kinds of things on these pockets. So here's one where you make a little pocket behind it. And this is one where it's glued flat down to the page. So you can just go to town on these little pockets and have such a good time with them. These are one of my favorites to do because they're so easy and so much fun. So I'm so glad you joined me today here at Ladybug Journals. I hope you had fun, and I hope you come back and play with me again. And then if you want to decorate it, you can decorate it also. You know, put a little piece of lace on it. Like that. So there you go. They're fun, they're easy, they're beginner friendly. Here, let me bring you down a little bit so you can see them. There you go. They're beginner friendly, and they're only made with one piece of 12 by 12 paper. And they can either be double-sided or single-sided, whichever you choose. So I want to thank you again for joining me here at Ladybug Journals. And I hope to see you again around the craft table to share some more fun pockets and fun things to do. And until I see you again, ta-ta for now.